All right, guys. So if you love football, then you got to love my next guest here on Sound Off Sports. It's the one, the only, Austin Ekeler, joining me here for Sound Off Sports. Austin, thanks so much for coming into the studio. It's
Absolutely.
great to see you, man. Are you a Vegas local? What's the deal?
I am of now. So I played for the Chargers for 7 years.
Yeah.
And about 4 years into that, signed my next contract and started getting some more promotional money. And I was like, how can I save some money? Going across the border to start getting my residency in Nevada. Started to meet friends out here, and now this is where I reside every single offseason. Offseason unfortunately started a little early for me this year, so that's why I'm out here.
I know, and we're going to get into your recovery, where we're hoping you're doing well with that. Listen, he's also here to promote something. We're going to be diving deep into this. We all know you guys love fantasy sports. You love gambling on the NFL and things of that nature, but he's the founder, Austin, of this great new platform called Fantasy Royale. It's going to be completely free to join. There's a lot of great contests coming up, so we're going to be learning what you guys are doing for the NFL playoffs. But let's start with the Achilles tear and the injury.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing it. I said there's no parking here. We have so many guests at Fox 5 right now. Austin is such a good dude. He was going to park in a different parking lot because he didn't want to take a handicap spot, and we both had the same joke.
Yeah, we did. I texted him like, look, I guess I couldn't take the handicap because I just, tore my Achilles. But no, it's fine. It's getting back into it. I actually was hitting some squats the other day, so that was nice. Getting the progression, getting the strength back, and it's been the biggest injury I've ever had actually in my career. So.
What's the deal with the Achilles thing right now?
I don't
between
know.
Halliburton,
Yeah.
Tatum,
Najee
all these
Harris.
guys.
We just saw, Colts. What is his name? Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. He just had the same thing. So what's going on in athletics?
I don't know, because for a lot of those guys, it's no contact. There's no contact.
Yours was no contact.
Mine was no contact.
Thursday night football versus Green Bay, week 2.
Yep. I go to Plant.
Take me through it.
Yeah, so I run my route. I'm in the flat. I got the flat route, so I got my flare control. The ball goes like thrown across the field, so I'm gonna go be a good teammate and follow the ball. I go to Plant, and apparently my Achilles decided that was enough and decided to just snap. I thought someone had kicked me, so I actually turned around, and as I was turning around, I was like falling down because I tried to step on my foot, and my foot wasn't really working at the time, and there was no one around me. So at that point, I immediately knew Achilles is gone.
And you've had your fair share of injuries. How has this one compared?
It's one that's taken me totally out of the rhythm of football. Like shoulders, broken collarbones, broken hands, sprained ankles, broken ribs, sprained AC joints, all of that, knees, all that. You're still in the place of football. You can come back from that and make your way back. Achilles, nah. You got to go next year. And so for me now, it's okay. Where do I want to do my rehab? I want to be in a place where my mental is going to be at its best, and that's at home for me. And so that's why I'm out here in Las Vegas. So that's why it's been different, because it's taken me out of the rhythm of being around the guys, around the room, and stuff like that.
It must be so hard. Are you coming back? What's the deal? Are you?
I can't. Here's my answer to that, because people keep asking me. I just finished this will be year 9, and my body right now cannot play football, because I'm still recovering. So I don't want to be making a decision while my body is not ready to come back.
You had, obviously, this is year 9. Most guys, it's like 1, 2, 3 years in the league. Yeah. Year 9 for a 0-star recruit, we're going to get into your story, is insanely remarkable. 7 years with the Chargers, led the NFL in touchdowns for 2 seasons, I believe. At one point, your peers, NFL top 100 list, you were ranked like in the 20s, 21. In terms of your peers. So this is such a great story, such a great teaching moment for so many people at home. But you're saying your body isn't maybe there right now. You signed a 2-year deal with the Commanders. They haven't had the best season. They don't have Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, Bill Merritt, Rodriguez, all these guys. They're not filling the void that you were.
Look, what's going on with our team right now is it's bigger than one person. It's
injuries.
Not, Austin Ekeler's not there. No, not even close. The injuries have plagued our entire team this season, and it's just a new team. Every single year, you begin again. Actually, one of my OG teammates, Phillip Rivers, who is back in the league, taught me that my rookie year is like every time you begin again. New year, new play, new drive, new day, and so that's what it was. There's expectations from last year. However, those expectations don't play this year.
So before we get to Phillip Rivers and his 44-year-old return, a grandfather going to be taking snaps in the NFL. So basically the business of the NFL, and I think you have such a great mind and mindset about everything. I've listened to so many interviews with you about talking just about, we see these big numbers in these contracts and how much money gets taken out, and the way that you really have a business acumen in mind. You went back to Western State to graduate. You got all these business initiatives that you're working on, which we're going to get into. But I'm curious, from a business standpoint, you're going to get your body right, and I'm assuming you're going to work with your agent and you're going to field offers and see, who wants to be in the business of Austin Ekeler. Is that how it works?
Well, Austin Ekeler, myself, I have to be in the mindset of I'm going back first, right? So
you got to decide.
That's my entire focus right now, is getting myself back to be able to make that type of decision. Is my body physically ready and my mind mentally ready to go through another season? All the preparation that goes through that, can I actually add value to a team out here? So,
and I've heard you say it's not, the distinction between maybe having a 2-3 year career, like most guys who they lose it, that 9 year, that 10 year, to have that longevity, it's the mental. I've heard
Absolutely.
you say that.
Absolutely. I think the ability to devote yourself to a craft is rare.
Yes.
And so if you can really dig in, I'm not saying like, oh, you kind of like, you actually put yourself in a position where you're like, this is my top priority. I'm going to master the skills that it takes to succeed in this field. You will probably see a lot more progress in that space. And that's exactly what I did. And that's where I see people fall off, where they come from college, where it's kind of handed to them. They're the man. They come in and they don't necessarily, it's not that they're not taking it seriously. It's that it's not at a point where they feel like they're at risk to be cut until they're in that position where like, oh, like you didn't perform like that. Because in college, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 years. You're good. You got all those years.
And they might be holding your hand. You could be having your hand
for sure. It is. It's a bunch of hand holding. Until the NFL, then it's on your own. You have to train on your own. You go to your gurus on your own. It's all what you want to put into yourself, your body, your mind, all of that.
So teach me this, because this is what I don't get about mindset, man. I love high achievers, so I love reading self-help and learning about what gets a guy to a place of mastery. What I don't understand is you're talking mental, right?
Yeah.
You're talking intangibles.
Right.
I understand you're 5'5" as a freshman at Eaton High School, and you're tearing it up, and you got zero. You're a zero recruit. You get 0 D1 offers. Wyoming was a little interested, but they didn't even give you an offer. Yeah. You start getting offers from places I've never even heard of. Shadron State. Shadron State. Oklahoma Panhandle State. I mean, these don't even sound like, they sound like a made-up university in a South Park episode, okay? Right. And most of these schools want you to transition to the secondary.
Correct.
So Western State, Western Colorado, the Mountaineers, they're the one place that says you can actually play running back. And when you're in high school, you're tearing it up. You end up going to Western State, becoming the all-time leading rusher. Right. One season you got 16. You rush for 1K every season. Yep. 1 year you had 19 TDs rushing, a few more receiving. So here's what I guess I'm getting to in a long-winded fashion. In the NFL, these general managers, these scouts, don't they understand that it's not just all about the attributes? It's about the intangibles. It's about the mindset, the mentality.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
How do you measure that?
Well, this is how I would measure it. A guy who's proven that and has maybe the route to the NFL that you had that's unconventional, the Adam Thielens of the world, the Kurt Warners who's bagging groceries, the guys that have to get on that route and that trajectory and they're overlooked and they have to battle to get there, to me, maybe it's not a given, but I think it's a high likelihood that that person's going to score off the charts in the intangibles, and we can count on that person to be a professional, to have the right locker room attitude. You came to the Chargers, it was Melvin Gordon's job. Yeah. But then you develop, and then you become a guy who's, you become a 3-down back because you can catch, you can run. And then you show that longevity. So to me, why can't a general manager or scout seek those types of unconventional guys? Because they're probably going to end up being very good locker room veteran assets to an organization.
Here's why you can't seek those guys.
But you understand what I'm
I see what you're saying. You don't have enough time. For you to learn that much about somebody, you have to spend time with this person. You have to know what they're about. You have to know their philosophies. You have to know their habits. What are they doing? Like my freshman year, we got in trouble from our strength coach because we were working out too much. After our workouts late night, we'd be like, "What's not sore? All right, let's go hit arms and chest," and we'd be working out, and we'd be doing farmer walks around the track and stuff like that. And so
you guys, even in the locker room, in the strength conditioning room, you had a build like
the record board, yeah. So, but here's the thing. Here's what I'm getting at: is those types of attributes you can't learn from somebody on stat sheet. And they're looking at thousands of guys, right? Thousands. And so how do you make it efficient? You can't. There has to be something tangible that is on paper that I can look at. So that's why guys like that stick to the class.
In these front offices where they got 9 million people working on
There's
analytics and all this stuff, couldn't two guys be devoted?
Mindset doesn't show up on the stats. It shows up over time, right? It shows up over time. You will weed yourself out through your mindset, because if you have the ability and then also have the mindset to really, like I mentioned, dedicate yourself to a craft, you will prevail. You will continue to do what I did, right, and push forward. It might not be to the ranks you want. You might go beyond. I never even thought I was going to be in the NFL. But as long as you dedicate yourself to a craft, that's where you can find, how far you can actually go. But it all comes back to the mindset, because it's not easy.
Because I want to know more about this mindset. So your mom, Suzanne, she played college ball,
correct,
University of Colorado Springs. Didn't really have a dad in your life, so your mom is really, a major inspiration.
I had my stepdad, who was now my mom's ex-husband. But growing up, it was building. I grew up on a ranch out in Colorado, plains. Think of grass. Think of like looking at the what's it called, the Lion King. And
really?
It's like a prairie, right? It's just flat grasslands.
You're Simba.
Right, yeah, Simba, hold him up. But think of that, and then we had like 80 acres, which is a lot of land, but in Colorado, like it's like dirt. It's just straight dirt. Like it's not anything over the top luxury or anything like that. Had some horses. My mom's husband at the time had a fencing company, and so my mom was a school teacher. I would play sports, come home, take care of the animals. I grew up in the rodeo life. During the summers, we'd build barbed wire fence. And around our house, it was like old days. Like, you're the man of the house because my stepdad was gone. I got to take care of the animals. I'm mowing the lawn. I'm doing all the responsibilities outside. And so I learned at a young age, like 12 years old, how to really start taking care of everything. I had a lot of responsibility on my plate, and there was no excuses. It was you get it done or get your beat. Like that was what it was. And so when you grow up in that mindset at a young age of responsibility, I got to grind, I got to go. There's no excuses. It really helped me going into my college career, because the day I graduated, I'm like, I'm getting the hell out of here. Like, this is toxic. She's out of it now, in a much better space. Still have a great relationship with my mother, but that mindset growing up has shaped me to be one that I can put myself to something. I'm not making excuses. If I'm going to do it, I'm dedicating everything I possibly can to it.
So from what I hear from talking to so many athletes and NFL guys, like I just had James Worthy in here, right? James Worthy was telling me, the hardest thing with all these athletes is that their whole attitude is about getting to the NFL, getting to the NBA, and nobody thinks about staying or what it takes to maybe be the best. Yeah. It's just about, so many young kids are just feasting on the idea of, I got to get there, and then that's it. For you, when did you know in your heart, in your chest, I can play in the NFL?
Probably after I actually made it to the NFL and made the team. And the reason that was because no one from my school had ever gone to the NFL from my college. There was no one that had ever made it. And for me going into it, I wasn't thinking about the NFL. I didn't grow up watching the NFL. I grew up watching bull riding and bass fishing. Like I was a country kid. And so when I got to college, I was using football to pay for my education. Like, that was the means for me to not have debt in school, even though there's no full rides in D2. But when I got to school, it was like, hey, you can still increase your scholarship if you're like all conference and all American.
That's all it was about. It was nothing.
It was
about
NFL. Using football to push myself to pay for my education.
I can't believe Austin Ekeler is saying this as how proficient you were in the NFL. It's ridiculous. So 0-star recruit, no Division I offers. You go to Western State. You end up leaving all-time rushing leader, rushing for 1,000 yards every year. Even I think in one season, maybe you led all of Division II in all-purpose yards, I saw. So
yeah, I never had less than 150 all-purpose yards in a season up there.
And then you sign as an undrafted free agent with the Chargers. You go into this situation. What's on your mind?
This is everything. My life depends on this. I took the opportunity as this is something to change the trajectory of my life in the short term, my social status going forward financially, really for myself and my family in the future. And so I took it as it was everything. And I actually dropped out. So I finished my senior year football. I didn't go finish that fall or the spring semester because I was like, you know what? If this is a real opportunity for me, I have nothing to leave on the table. I want to make sure that that's every ounce of my possible energy that I could put into that. So I left, went and trained, figured I would be undrafted just because of where I had come from. Which was fine because it actually allowed me to pick where I wanted to go because I had a few teams that
Which is a big advantage.
Oh, absolutely.
Going to the right situation is huge.
Everything. And now even, being a 9-year vet, I know that even more. There's the politics that play because coaches trust certain players.
Right.
And if they trust you, they'll bring you along. Like, oh, they're bringing my guys with me,
Right.
We see that even with Phillip right now. With Shane Steichen. He was the quarterback coach when I was with the Chargers when Phillip was there.
Wow.
And guess what? Now he's the head coach of the Colts, and now he's bringing him back. So people bring their guys with them. Same thing with me and the Commanders. Anthony Lynn was my running back coach. Was my head coach. Now he's my running back coach. Brought me over there to the Commanders. So building myself was basically what I set out. I was the only running back that year, undrafted. There was no drafted guys, and so I was really kind of on my own. But I had everything to prove, and I treated it like that.
And you had a couple seasons getting your feet wet, and then there was a year where Melvin Gordon was hurt at the beginning of the year. You got to start.
Yeah.
And then obviously we just know what happens, of course.
I think one thing I wanted to call out, sorry to interrupt, but one of my favorite stats to this day is kind of the unseen work that goes into it and kind of just, to me, kind of shows the dedication that I had to the game. I had never really played special teams before I got to the pros. I was always playing running back in high school. It was like, hey, if you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt playing running back. In college, it was, hey, man, you're a guy. You're playing running back. So I get to the pros. I'm on scout punt team.
Wow.
I'm on scout every team, right? Because I'm the 6th-string running back. And one day, Coach Lynn, he didn't even know my name at the time. It was too early. Literally, I was number 3 to him. Comes in and asks our special team coach, he's like, hey, Coach Stu, who's number 3 running down there? Because I was flying. Like, every time I had a rep that was full speed, I was running like my life depended on it.
Yeah.
And when you put that type of fear in your life, in that stress in your life, you will go to the extent to get it done.
Yeah.
Whatever your job is, whatever your technique is, you hyper-focus and get it done. And so that's what I was doing, absolutely untouchable down the field. And Coach Stu goes, that's Ekeler, man. He's been giving us a hell of a look all camp. And so that was like the first recognition that I got. And that translated to me playing a lot of special teams my rookie year and actually led the NFL in tackles on punt.
What?
And so it's my favorite stat because it showed the extent I was willing to go to learn new skills, to adapt as fast as I possibly could, apply it, and then had 15 tackles on punt.
Dude, I'm so happy you shared that. So you just wanted it more, and you were so willing.
The most.
And do you think, is it impossible for a guy who's got the pedigree, a 5-star recruit coming out of LSU, to want it the same amount? I mean, it's not impossible,
it's just treated differently.
It's just you. So that's where I was saying earlier, all your disadvantages in so many ways become advantages.
When you have everything to prove and there's no expectations for you, then it can go either way, right? You can go to the negative side and kind of play the victim card, or you can look at it as, I have sky's the limit. I have nothing to lose here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for it. And that's how I treated it. Now, if you're a 5-star, there's a ton of perks that come with that too.
Right.
Because now, right, you have the accolades, you have people that are, kind of showing you the red carpet, which is great, but you can definitely, taste the cologne, as they say, a little bit, where it's like, I'm already at this level. I don't maybe have to go as hard.
Or like
there's not as much mental or pressure on yourself as an individual at that moment. Depending on the mindset,
Right.
If you're different, there's definitely people that have been 5-stars that put that mental pressure on themselves. But when your back's against the wall, because it's either get cut, not necessarily just maybe not play as well. If you're a 5-star, it's a little bit different.
But here's even another way to look at it. To me, I look at it like an Ashton Genty. This is a guy who he gets handed the ball at Boise State, it's a touchdown. Yeah. Pretty much, right? He was averaging over like 8-9 yards per carry. He comes into this situation. We're talking about situations before with the Raiders. He's getting hit before he even catches the ball, gets the handoff in the backfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, I worry with a guy like that, situationally, not only that, but it's the first time he's facing potentially adversity.
Correct.
We've seen this when I was growing up, these guys like Cadillac Williams, Ronnie Brown, all these guys who are these top-tier draft picks, they flame out because maybe their whole life they they do a juke, they shrug a defender, stiff arm, it's a 75-yard touchdown. They get the NFL, it's the first time they're confronted with it. I'm not kidding. It's the first time they're confronted with, oh, crap, I might have to try a little bit. You know, is that a real thing?
Well, here's the thing. You're always trying the maximum.
No, I
right?
got it, but you know what I'm saying.
Circumstances definitely, form and can impact your outcome. And so that's especially in the NFL, right? As the NFL, timing has a lot to do with your success for multiple reasons. What team you go to, right? Are they advantageously set up for you? The coaching staff? Is the team in shambles? Are they a winning team? All of these things you can't control. The only thing you can control ever as a human, as a player, is your attitude and your effort. And it might look so different than what you were at in college when you were the man playing in an advantageous opportunity for yourself. Right. Now you're coming into maybe a team, hey, you were the first overall pick. You're going to the worst team last year, right? And so there's a lot of factors that play into the NFL that maybe you can't necessarily control that can actually put out a projection of people having expectations out about you now because of your circumstances that might not necessarily come back to you. So again, timing in the NFL is everything, and sometimes it can work out for you like it did for me. I went into a situation where I was around Phillip Rivers. He couldn't move. He's not a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, so that's the good thing.
For me, I can catch the ball really well. So guess what? If he didn't have anywhere to go, who was getting the ball? I'm getting the ball over and over again. And so that was an example of timing working out for me, but it can also work in the ulterior as well, where you maybe come into a crowded backfield, or you come into a situation where your running back, your offensive line is going through some injuries, or maybe he just needs an upgrade, and it's now reflecting as you, because offensive line don't necessarily get the praise the runner does, or the quarterback does. They also get the downfall of it. So it's not fair. It is what it is, kind of situation, and that's the ebbs and flows, and that's where I say expectations, and paper doesn't play football. That's why it's tough to draft, because
it's amazing just hearing you and listening to you, because I see videos of you in the weight room, and you're such a specimen. You have such a great gifted athletic ability, but you're so smart.
I appreciate it.
You're one of the smartest guys I've ever spoken to in terms of an athlete. I feel like so much of your success is predicated on your intellect and your ability to just have such a clear mind and so level-headed. So it's fascinating to me. Like in the NBA, a Kawhi Leonard obviously comes out of San Diego State, goes to the Spurs, but he's not a guy who actually has a jump shot, right? Mm-hmm. He can't hit the three. Mm-hmm. They think he's going to develop into a 3-and-D. The same thing they're trying to do now with Carter Bryant at a University of Arizona. So my question is, you go to San Diego, do you already have the skill set to be that, PPR machine that you became in fantasy, where you're like catching, you got the hands, you can run through the tackles, you can do outside zone, you can do a little bit of everything. You already had those skills, or did Anthony Lynn and the team have to kind of mold you into that kind of player?
Yeah, the skills are there, and most guys that come out of college have some type of skills. There's a reason you're a college football player. The skills are there. Now, how much can you fine-tune those in the situations where you get an opportunity, so you can actually show those in a situation where you get an opportunity, is what it comes down to. And so for me, I had the skills. I could catch the ball, I could block, I could do that. I was, flexible hips, all the things that they're looking at the combine, like all the numbers check out. For a lot of guys, there's a lot of guys that do really well on paper. But when it comes to playing the game of football, it is not just running fast, jumping high.
Right.
It is using the right technique at the right time, knowing the play, knowing the adjustments, knowing what speeds to use, what tempos to use, catching the ball, knowing the game situations. There's levels that get put onto you as a player in the pros, because all the details have to be even that much sharper, because if you mess up a little bit, it has a big effect.
Right.
If you don't go out of bounds on a 2-minute when you could have got out of bounds. When you maybe could have made a guy miss and fell forward for 2 yards to get a first down, instead of now being 3rd and short. All of these tiny little intricacies of the game add up to you being a consistent player that continues to have and produce. And so for me, young, I'm learning more of these. Like I remember like one of my first runs in rookie minicamp before we had the vets, I tried to run across and around the edge, and I was going to turn the corner. Immediately got ran down by a defensive lineman, and I was like, okay, the coach says, hey, this is the pros.
Right.
You need to get
Western
north and south.
State.
Yeah, Western State. You can run around that guy. You cannot run around these people here. They are way faster than what it was in Division II, or as my coach called it, college. He's like,
Julius
I don't know your
Peppers is going to track you down.
They're running. They are running real fast.
It's just how it is. So it's so interesting to me because, it's what we see at the combine. It's the reason why a John Ross. The
physicality. That's the part I didn't hit on.
He hits a great time on the 40, but that dude can't really play NFL football. The
physicality is another thing.
Different,
durability.
So it really is. That's why I'm just so perplexed consistently, because I think when I read the Ryan Holidays, the Robert Greens, and I look into these guys who are trying to tap into high achievers and what it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur, as a businessman. Like, there's so many stories about what happens on that path.
Yeah.
That craft and mold these people. To me, these scouts, these front offices, they have to be able to see, because that's why people love you. People love you because the average Joe like me, who never played a down of NFL football, there's a difference. Sure, go to the combine. We can all geek out on some analytics.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch football, Austin Ekeler knows how to play football.
Right.
There's certain things that it's just the eye test.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can play football.
Right.
And that's why there's certain guys that that's just how it is. So I can't believe that there hasn't been a front office or something that really, maybe there is, but that is devoting a lot of time into thinking intangibles, thinking about, okay, we're going to take a 4th, 5th round draft pick flyer on a guy. Mm-hmm. Does this guy have the mentality to succeed in this business?
That's what I said. It's the time that's allotted to the scouting report is not going to be enough to be able to measure the capacity of these guys' mentality. It's just not. It's not. So you're relying on other people saying they're about this, they're about that. But of course, if you're coaching like a guy, you're going to gas him up. So it's hard. And that's why people fall through the cracks. And that's why people like myself can find ourselves on a team and then go have a career. It's not fair. It is what it is. It's one of the things where you have to go with the flow of it.
Yeah.
They'll continue to get better with more analytics and things like that.
How ridiculous is this Phillip Rivers thing? So Phillip Rivers, first of all, we know I might have to just go through some of his smack talk with you.
Oh yeah.
You were there with some, Gates.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers, all these great guys. So you alluded to earlier, Phillip couldn't really move ever, but he was the master at just kind of like, he was great at just that little dump pass, that swing pass to you would happen all the time.
Let me tell you this too. This is something about Phillip. He knew he would already know what the protection plan for the week was, because he knows and he remembers this coordinator used to be at Miami back in 2003 when they played it. The dude knows football like crazy. Like he would run the protection meetings. He would run on the field. We'd do protection things. He would have us run. Hey, let's do it again. I want to try it this way. He could protect himself. Wow. And that's why he was able to, have success with not being as mobile.
He was like a coach on the field.
100%. Well, when I got there, he'd been there longer than anyone.
He probably his first born was older than you when you got there. Probably.
No, actually, funny story. The first time I ever saw Phillip Rivers with his kids, I didn't know he had a lot of kids. He's got like 10 now.
Yeah.
And so I thought he was doing a meet and greet on the field. I thought he was like doing a meet and greet with some kids out there. And I was like, dang, like Phil's got like some people coming in town.
We got like the Boys and Girls Club.
Right, yeah, that's what I thought it was.
No, it's a Make-A-Wish Foundation. No, it's this entire family.
Well, just... Where do you ever see a group of 10 people together? You typically think that's like people from all over the place. Nope, that's one family came from that man.
That's so funny. So protection provided that longevity.
Correct.
What else did you learn from him?
One of my favorite clips with Phillip, there's a few, but I didn't realize he wasn't as mobile at first, my rookie year. And I remember he was scrambling, and he's running towards me, and I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna go block. And so I go block, and he just throws it at my feet and yells, just rip me. Austin, I'm not going to run the ball. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. Never again will I, I'll always try to go get open now. So taught me about his mobility. His trash talking is always legendary. It'd be funny because he knew the defense so well. He'd be like, you're lined up wrong. I've heard him yell at defenders that you're supposed to be over here, line it up. And then
give us some of the smack talk. Like, what's the craziest thing you heard him say?
I mean, it's always just like methodical stuff. Like, there's, the Like the viral ones where I scored a 90-yard touchdown and he's like 90-yard touchdown. He's like, I will do it in your ear. You ain't got to do it in my ear. He's like, there's another one. He's like, bro, he turned just talking about people getting burned, talking about people being lined up wrong, talking about how people used to be good, they're not good anymore. Yeah. So it's always just like personal attacks of just like your intellect and your position.
He had that Tom Brady intensity.
It's extremely intense.
Very intense, which I always like to see. And that bread and butter you guys had with that, what is it, swing pass, dump pass? What would you call that? Like kind of
the check downs.
Check downs.
Just all the check downs. Another funny thing is he knew all the refs by name. So Ron, come on, Ron. He's yelling at my first name basis. It was so funny out there, man.
So I guess this begs the question. I mean, Daniel Jones goes down. The Colts go all in. I mean, they trade Chris Ballard, GM, trades 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner.
Yep.
Because they're thinking, okay, we're going to compete for a Super Bowl with this team. Jonathan Taylor's doing crazy stuff.
Yep.
Team looks good. Sauce gets hurt. He'll be back. Daniel Jones playing hurt. Now had a fractured fibula. Then he gets hurt again. Probably didn't help. Torn Achilles. He's out for the year. They decide we're still 8-5. We want to try to go for this. So the answer is not going to be Riley Leonard. Anthony Richardson's hurt. They're going to go, because of the Shane Steichen connection you mentioned, they're going to go to 44-year-old Phillip Rivers that we just learned all about from you. Is this when you saw that, what went through your mind?
I was like, this is like a Joe Flacco moment where it's like Joe Flacco usually comes in and like saves the day for like a team and gets a couple wins, but all right, he's already taken. Who else is out there, that we can grab? And it was Phillip. I think he's out. I know he's out coaching, high school football out in Alabama.
And he was running the same thing that Steichen runs, from what I understand.
Probably just run it from a wristband. They'll figure it out.
Is he going? I mean, dude, the wear and tear. You're 30, right? I'm
30. Yes.
The wear and tear on an NFL bike. I can't even. I play like a lot of tennis, and I was pretty good, but I had like a contusion the other day. I had to go get it checked. I can't even walk, dude. I had a contusion. I can't imagine what it's like to actually even be an NFL player. Okay, I know he's a master of protection, so maybe he'll never even get hit.
Oh, he's going to get hit.
But at 44, is this actually even possible? Like, is he going to really do this, and is it going to look pretty?
First of all, he's going to get hit. Like, it don't matter how good you are. Offensive line, the defensive line gets paid too, a lot of money, right? They're paying those guys a lot to have a good elite pass rusher. So he's going to get hit. He'll protect himself though. Now, what that's going to look like, I really don't know. I'm just like, Phillip, as teammates have played for a long time, I just hope he doesn't get injured. Is my thing. Because obviously, you take 5 years he sat out. I think his first thing he said was like, "Oh, no Zoom anymore."
Yeah,
it was like because COVID was when he was back in the league. So, I'm hoping he can be like what they call like the field general out there. But as far as like any upside, it's like a roll of the dice in my opinion. Roll the dice. I could see him being solid, kind of distributing. But
Peyton Manning did win that. He at the end of his career, he couldn't.
He wasn't 44 though, was he?
No, but Brady was 41, 42, right?
Brady was 45 when he retired.
Right. So, but when he was winning Super Bowls at 42, 40,
he won like 43. The year before,
yeah,
like at 44.
So it's possible. We just got to see what can happen. It's pretty insane stuff.
It is crazy.
Another question for you. Saquon Barkley, last year, this guy has a magical season, right? Almost breaks Eric Dickerson's record. They sat him instead of having him play. When you're watching the Eagles this year, from a running back's perspective, I'm curious to get your take on this. It doesn't look like anything changed with Saquon. Of course, the O-line, little different. Mekhi Becton's not playing right guard. Dickerson's a little banged up. Jurgen's a little banged up. But when you're a running back and you see, okay, Saquon Barkley was ridiculous last year, and now it doesn't seem like he can even tear one off. What's your read on that?
Timing. Comes back to timing. What do I mean by that? Who was different offensive coordinator, yes, right? Yeah. Kellen Moore was there.
Now it's Kevin Patullo. So is it what if you had the
example? We had Joe Lombardi.
Yeah.
For me, for 2 years with the Chargers. Both years, I lead the league in touchdowns, back to back. We get Kellen Moore. It's just a switch up, right? Switch up in the chemistry.
That was 2021 and 2022. You lead the NFL in touchdowns.
Correct. We have Joe Lombardi. Then we go and we blow a 27-point lead in the playoffs to Jacksonville. All right. Go the next year. We let go of Joe Lombardi. Bring in Kellen Moore. different team, different chemistry. Like it's a begin again situation, like I was saying. So it doesn't translate year to year, your success, right? You have to go improve it every single year because you have new people, you have new players, you have, new philosophies. All of these little things add into the product that's going to be on the field. And then there's some of the things like injuries that kind of play themselves out as well. So all of these little factors continue to add up to the success of your time on the field. And so that's what I think is going on with like a Saquon right now, where it's like same player, same capabilities, different scheme, different circumstances based off of injuries, based off of different coordinators. And then, age continues to keep up with us as well, right? That's always going to play a factor into it down the road. So all of those little things, right, bleed into what is different from last year to this year. Even though media, what do we have to talk about? Media can only talk about past as far as really real facts, and then you use those to build expectations for the future. That's not how real life works,
Do you said growing up you were such like it's like NFR going on, like you're
it was
that's you're that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So you weren't really sitting at home watching football.
No.
I'm curious if you even played Madden. Did you model your game after anybody? Because so many young kids, I think today I think a lot of their coaches would say, point to you and be like, that's a complete player. Like that's a guy you should model your game at. So you didn't have any. You didn't say Brian Westbrook, or you didn't think about you didn't know any of that stuff.
I did what worked for me. And I was playing the game of football. Look, there's only so much you can do on a football field. And so I wasn't doing anything that was so different. There's probably parts of my games that would, resemble other people's game. But I did what worked for me, which was I'm a short body. I have short bursts, great contact balance, get me in space. I'm probably going to make my guy miss and get upfield. And if you continue to do that over and over again, that was my game. And so that's what's worked for me. I didn't resemble myself after anyone. I didn't start watching the NFL until my junior year of college when my coach comes to me and is like, hey, man, you got some scouts looking at you. And I'm like, scouts? Like, who? Because I've never seen a scout on campus before. We've never had anyone go to the NFL. Right. We don't have anyone getting scouted for the NFL. So that was kind of my first introduction to it, coming out of college.
It's amazing stuff. As we're working our way towards Fantasy Royale and all the great stuff you got going on there as a founder, I mean, you're such a smart. I think you have the whole world open to. You're gonna have so many cool things you're gonna be a part of.
Let's talk about it a little bit.
Tell me.
If you don't mind, because business was my first passion, right? I told you I was.
Right.
I was
you were just thinking, as a scholarship kind of thing.
I was using football to pay for school. Yeah. And so I was going to school for energy management. I was going to get an oil and gas field and help continue just to produce oil for our country. That was my idea. And I was going to use that money to get into real estate. So real estate was really my first love. And so once I had the opportunity to play in the NFL, came into capital a lot sooner than I thought it was going to be. So I started to build my real estate portfolio up in Colorado. Have done that over the past few years, and then I started my first real estate fund 5 years ago, and actually we're going through our first exit with that too. And so continue to compile different capabilities, and then I'll go out and apply those and build a team around those. That's the same thing with, I used to do like streaming. I had like a streaming company. It was called Gridiron Gaming Group.
Yeah.
And we would do some different streams around the Super Bowl, around the draft, we had like basketball players. We do like around.
You always had that entrepreneurial bug going while you were still a player, which is hard to multitask and have, both of those things going.
I'll say it's a blessing and a curse. Blessing because it continues to keep you hyper motivated to do stuff. Like all I want to do is build. I wake up, I think about building. I go to sleep, I think about building. I want to build stuff, whether it's physically or whether it's mentally.
That's great.
And so it's helped me become a better football player. And now at this point, I've been playing running back for 9 years. I could tell you everything about the running back position that there is.
That's great. Yeah, you would be a great coach. I mean,
I don't have the time. It's too much time.
Right. You have too many other things you want to do.
I would be too pigeonholed. Yeah,
right. So you were never the guy with that business mindset. Did you ever succumb to like, I want to buy, the Ferrari. I want to buy the. Did you ever? No.
No, I would rather hire some more people is what I want to buy. I want to buy more capabilities.
You never fell victim to one, like, I want that watch. I want nothing.
No, I would rather I want to hire somebody. Like, if I have more money, great, I can hire someone else. Now we can do more. Now we can make more money.
How many employees you have? You're the founder of Fantasy Royale. How many employees?
So there's like four that work for Fantasy Royale, and then there's 3 that work for my real estate fund, and then we have a bunch of contractors for legal and for like contractors do like content stuff for
Give us some game on real estate, because I'll open up to you a little bit. So 33, I moved here at like 27, been in TV a long time.
Right.
COVID happens here in Vegas, right? So a buddy of mine who's like in the real estate world, flipping houses, all that stuff, kind of says, yo, if you got any money right now, during COVID. He's like, buy a house.
Cheap money, yeah.
And I didn't even know, like I knew what a mortgage is, but I didn't know anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, dude, I never did this before. I know. He's like, honestly, dude, how much money you got?
Mm-hmm.
I had about less than $20K probably to my name.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, all right, I would buy 2 houses if you can.
Yeah.
I should have, but I bought one. But I saw the power of real estate because what happens is it is a perfect example for somebody who doesn't come from 100% wealth and understanding these things. You do see, your first contract, you sign 3 years, $1.66 million, $5K bonus. That's what happens when you're undrafted free agent. But then 2020, you get that 4-year, $24.5 million deal. So you're saying, as a smart dude with the business acumen, thinking about all these things, I'm going to put this money into real estate.
100%.
That's how you start. So give us some game on real estate. If somebody at home right now wanted to go to the Austin Ekeler School for Real Estate Investing, give us the mastery.
It all starts with education first. Like, you have to know where you want to be, know the lingo, know how to talk real estate. And then if you're looking to get into real estate, there are a few individuals on this earth that have dedicated their life to finding deals. And those individuals are the most important people to know in real estate.
I don't understand what you mean. There's only a select amount of people on earth.
There are people that might go to Zillow and say, let me look at the crunch numbers on different deals that I see on Zillow. That's great. There are people on this earth, and this is what we built all of our portfolios on with my group, is people that are nonstop cold calling, people that are plugged into foreclosures, people that are plugged into regions that maybe are going, hey, need renovations, things like that are cold calling nonstop, email ads, radio ads,
those
billboards.
Diamonds in the rough.
These people are nonstop finding and talking to people that are maybe going through rough times. They need cash, or maybe, hey, I need out of this house because I need to sell it.
I'm getting divorced.
Exactly.
I need to
Someone
dump this
died.
ASAP.
Someone's getting divorced. So that is nonstop happening. Trust is actually an interesting one. Houses that are in trust, the person who owned the trust died. They want to liquidate that inside the trust. There's all these situations out there that.
And each state has different things because that trust, the kids might not have the financial backing to actually pay for the home.
So they'd rather just sell it.
Right.
So there's all of these. I'm saying this because there's all of these just
opportunities
that are out there. And then if you find individuals, what we've done is find people that's all they do. They just find deals and they just distribute deals. And we say, hey, this is now kind of getting a little bit more advanced. You're distributing all these deals to different flippers and things like that. Let's build an empire around you. You keep bringing us deals. We'll flip the ones that are kind of mid, the ones that are premium. We're keeping them. We'll put them in a holding company, and then we'll flip it or we'll keep it.
And you started doing that like basically as a full-time job while playing with the chart, like that early in your career?
I nonstop think about building stuff.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
So if somebody at home is watching this, can they invest in your fund and your real estate?
No, it's closed, and we're actually we're selling.
That was a question for me. That wasn't a question.
I did actually just raise I just raised $1 million for one of our one out in Alabama for a holding company. So I'll keep it on the mind. I'll keep it on the list.
Tell us all the businesses you got going right now before we get to finish.
I have actually condensed myself because I got too broad and I found myself getting spread too thin, and I was experiencing more burnout. And so now I have totally focused on Ekeler Capital, which is my real estate holding company, and then Fantasy Royale.
Just two. Okay.
So I had a foundation. We were focused on building weight rooms. We built 5 weight rooms. We've done a ton of stuff as far as football equipment, things like that.
Yeah, I saw that. Austin Ekeler Foundation. You started that in 2021.
So this is the last year we're having the foundation, but one of the cool fundraisers that we do was called Charity Draft. Yeah. And I would go to players and they donate like a jersey or sign helmets, and then people would join, like, hey, it's $250 to join in this fantasy league to play for Austin Ekeler signed game jersey or something like that.
That's cool.
And then that money would go to let's think like My Cause, My Cleats, but now it's fantasy
cool.
league.
And for pertinent to you, which is so cool about, why that building that weight room means so much, at Western State, Western Colorado, you guys barely had it
was a hole in the wall.
Or there's a hole in the wall.
Funny story there, actually. Our equipment staff guy was also our O-line coach, was also our strength and conditioning coach.
Yes, he also taught economics too.
Right.
Something like that.
So it's do a lot with a little in Western Colorado.
All right, so let's talk about this. So we love fantasy football, and I'm sure you became. I hate to just pigeonhole you to the fantasy football thing. Because,
I love that.
Because you were such a great NFL running back. So real NFL fans, football guys knew you as a proficient, amazingly talented guy. But in the fantasy football realm, Austin Ekeler was kind of like the best dude you could have.
Yeah.
I mean, and so did you have a lot of experiences where I'm sure the fantasy football element just entered your life so much because fans and interactions? When did you really start realizing fantasy football is kind of, you're almost like Mr. PPR, Mr. Fantasy Football, because I think it lends itself well to why you're doing Fantasy Royale.
Correct. So exactly, you're exactly right. So when I first got into the league, I had no idea anything really about fantasy football. I played one time in high school, and I brought like all the top players, and I said, I want these people on my team. And my friends were like,
that's not how it works.
Nah, yeah, exactly. That's how it works. So that was my last time I ever played, and so I kind of just forgotten about it, since then. And then I got into the pros, and one of the games, Melvin actually ended up getting hurt. This is later in the season, and I had like 2 touchdowns and was popping off against the Jaguars. And then it was 4 minutes. We were in 4 minutes. I fumbled the ball. They ended up getting the ball, kick a field goal. We go into overtime, and then we ended up losing the game. And the reason that introduced it to me is because I had so much rage from people because I fumbled the ball and it had gone down like 1 or 2 points or whatever it does. And so people were just like, you need to hang on, like all this. So I was just feeling the emotion that these people have invested in this stuff. And I was like, this is real. Like these people really are about this stuff out here. So that was my introduction to it. And then pretty much from then on for the next 5 years, it was all positive, because I was just continuing to be efficient. But that was my first introduction.
It's so funny because using the analogy or likening you as a fantasy player to your real estate company, most fantasy football players would go to a fantasy football draft and they're treating it like Zillow, right? They're just looking at it as a list. But the guys that you have on your payroll who are scouring for trust fall throughs and foreclosures, those are the types of people that would know, oh, I have the 3rd overall pick, I should take Austin Ekeler. It's fascinating because the way that you look at real estate is how a lot of people looked at you as a fantasy player. Right. You became a household name, and then you became so prominent. So Fantasy Royale is great because, first of all, it's free. So the big issue we're seeing with the NFL since your heyday and how it started and still playing now, the big 2-year difference is gambling is 100% pervasive in the NFL.
Right.
Meaning you're watching Sunday Night Football, you're watching Thursday Night Football, Matthew Berry comes on, Nate Burles, everybody just says, okay, my parlay of the day is this. And you're saying you even have buddies who are losing a lot of money because they think they know football and they're gambling and it's not a great thing for our youth, number one.
Yeah, it's definitely toxic. And the thing is, you said it actually there. You said people that think they know football and then they go and put money on it. It is still a gamble whether you know it or not.
Right.
And so this is where actually I've been getting into conversations online about it's rigged, the rigged comments of like, oh, people think it's rigged now. But that's because we've seen that way more now because Vegas has the sports books. All of those are much more public and they're much more accessible.
Just last week with the Raiders and that field goal, Dave Portnoy goes on social and it blows up. People,
right. Yeah, no, I saw that. I'm like, you guys think someone called Pete Carroll, Pete, hey man, we need you to kick this field goal. Like
not happening.
And the thing is, you cannot reason with these people either. It's like people get so emotionally attached to their bets, and if they lose, it's everyone and everything else's fault of why they is, and that's where the rig stuff. So I think it's definitely a toxic environment. Look, at the same time, it definitely helps ratings, but maybe not in the way that necessarily is healthy for our young minds of America.
But that's why Fantasy Royale is great. So guys, you can go to fantasyroyale.fun or on social media, it's Fantasy Royale Official. And as we're gearing up right now for the NFL playoffs, it's kind of like this March Madness time, right? Where we want to kind of get a piece of the action, but able to figure out and pick playoff brackets within the NFL, and that's what you guys are doing at Fantasy Royale. So tell us a little bit about this, because it's all completely free, and then you're going to be signing up, joining a wait list, and getting an opportunity, not just for great prizes, but for $10,000.
Yeah, absolutely. So the fantasy world is great. I love the fantasy world. Sports betting world, I'm like, okay, this is a little toxic. How can we make something that's a little bit better? Because you're going to lose a lot of money, going and trying to bet and thinking football. So Fantasy Royale, free contest, always free. Our motto is save your money, come play for free with us at Fantasy Royale. And so we've been doing like weekly pick'ems right now, during the time we're filming this during the season, but we're gearing up for the playoffs, as you mentioned. And so think of like a bracket challenge where you pick the teams. And so we have 10 different contests that you can enter. And these are all like big prizes, like, golf clubs, year supply of Ike's sandwiches,
wow.
Different types of foods, different equipments,
apparel.
Yeah. Homage is going to do, a few $100s worth of apparel, get a whole new wardrobe. So all of these different contests that you can play for, it's all free. And then each of those contests gets you into a Grand Master leaderboard, which I'm excited because we're going to find out really who knows football. We'll have like a tier list of see what tier your bracket's in. So you can actually have some bragging rights regardless if you win, but that's for $10,000
and that's
if you win that.
All for free. So where do we sign up? Just fantasyroyale.fun?
So yeah, you just go to Google. You can Google Fantasy Royale will be the first thing that pops up. But yeah, fantasyroyale.fun. And then you can join the wait list right now because the playoffs, you can't obviously pick until we know who's in the playoffs, which is January 4th. So if you're on the wait list, you'll get reminded and you can check it out then.
Okay, that's the way to do it. You're going to be and also just by entering the mix for those clubs or selecting one of those prizes automatically puts you in the field for the 10K.
Correct. So what we do for us in our business is we're partner with great brands that do a lot of great prizes. We'll put them out there for different types of competitions. So we'll do stuff for NCAA basketball. We'll do stuff for college. We'll do stuff for NHL. All of the major sports events out there we'll be covering. So you can be with us year round. Again, save your money, save your sanity, and win some cool prizes at the same time.
All right. It's Austin Ekeler, 9-year NFL player, also the founder of Fantasy Royale, a real estate mogul maven. You could really do anything. Anything you put your mind to, I believe you could do it. Any last words?
I just want to say thank you, everyone that's supported me along my journey. It's been up and down, and I've really felt a lot of the love throughout the journey. So I appreciate people like yourself as well. Let me come on here and continue to hopefully make people's day.
I learned a lot. Thank you. It's the great, the one and only Mr. PPR, Mr. Fantasy Football, Austin Ekeler. Thanks so much, Austin.
Thanks for having me.